The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, we will talk about nooses being left in NASCAR events, thoughts on statues and monuments being destroyed. We'll talk some NFL QBs as women, and we'll talk franchise GOATs of the NBA. All that and more. Let's get to the show. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pool. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. On to the Shy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 162. Y'all come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glenf, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glenf. What's good with you, cuzzo?
Man, it's been a rough one. Not just because we didn't do a show last week, because that definitely was a little interruption to the good energy I call my week some weeks. Like, I appreciate these shows, so not having one was definitely something that made the week a lot to deal with. But just a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in my life, and it's been a stressful one, honestly, and one that I'm just glad to be here, glad to see this day, glad to do this show, glad to hear your voice, and let's get it. Look forward to the show. Good to hear you.
Man. Yeah, likewise, man. Ditto to everything you just said. For one, Thomas Stevens will be joining us shortly. God willing, if the creek don't rise. But yeah, man, it's been a trying week to say the least. Talk about pretty much run the gamut of everything, a lot of things that could possibly happen in my life. Loss, dealing with the loss of one of my best friends. We talked about. I've been kind of hinting at me being under weather over the past few months and just not feeling right, and it kind of just came to a head over the last week. But had to. Like I was telling you off the air, it was a sit your ass down moment and deal with your shit. So got that, went through that, and just family stuff and health stuff through the family. So, yeah, man, like you said, it's good to hear your voice. It's good to be here, and kind of take this full advantage of these cathartic moments on this show. So, they feel good to be here.
And, honestly, for our listeners' sake, some weeks we bring what we are really dealing with to the show, and some weeks we just kind of mention it. And that's just part of being, one, professionals, but I also think it's part of being men. We tend to keep a lot of what we deal with to the vest. But this one, honestly, has this week in particular was, you kind of felt like it was being piled on top of stuff. Yeah. So, as the week played out, you kind of felt like, damn, another punch, another punch. But honestly, as the days play out, and that's what I love about life, is that with the bad is good, with the rain is sun. Like is the last couple of days has been some real good days.
Right.
In terms of some of the news and progress that has been made. So that's been good to feel. So it's kind of good to be here today and just to talk about what we talk about, but in a good space today, better than yesterday.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Shout out to, like you said, those good days. Shout out to Thomas and Chiquita.
Yeah.
All this, everything that's going on, man. Like you said, it's good to, as you hear and as you receive like somber news, it's good to hear the other side of it. So,
last week I forgot that there was another side of it.
Right. That's what, because sometimes it ain't no other side of it.
Woo.
Oh man. So let's have fun with this shit and
yes.
Let's be extra thankful today. So
Amen.
Again, y'all, welcome to episode 162. Again, we apologize, as Al mentioned, that we didn't have a show last week. A lot of things came up. If we talked about it all, it'll take another 2 episodes. So
hello.
Thank y'all for joining us, and thank y'all for everything. Again, like we always say, we appreciate our listeners. And on that note, I want to give a quick shout out to our newest patron, Everett Lipscomb, a.k.a. Unc.
What up,
guy?
Unc?
Yeah, Unc, what's good, man? Appreciate you for joining.
Yes.
We call him Unc because that is Money's real uncle.
That's what's up. Good peoples then.
Yeah, but Unc, throughout college, Unc took care of us, man. Unc's lived right across the street from campus, and while I was at Benedict, and Money and Pooh and about 13 other dudes were at Allen. We enjoyed countless games of Madden and countless bowls of ramen noodles and countless nights of sleeping like all on Unc's floor. So appreciate you, Unc. Unc said when he finally got a chance to sit down and listen to a few of the shows, he realized what we were about, and he was like, "Oh, I got to become a patron right now." So appreciate you, Unc.
Yeah, shout out to Unc. Sound like a real good guy.
No doubt. So not only you, Unc, you're our newest patron, but we want to give a shout out to all of our patrons. Folks always ask, how can I support the network? Just go to patreon.com/GoDefyLife and become a patron. You can help support the growth and allow us to continue to host events and work in our communities for less than your favorite fast food dollar combo. So going out there and support us, man. GoDefyLife.com is our content site, and DefyLifePods.com is our hub to all of our podcasts. And, of course, you can check out DefyLifeGear.com for all of our branded apparel. And y'all know where to find us. Not only on DefyLifePods.com, you can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere else your favorite podcasts are available. Al, did I cover everything?
You hit it, son. You hit it.
Damn. Didn't miss a beat.
Not bad for a dude that took a week off. Not bad.
Rest, right?
That was rest.
Man. Right. We're going to get right into it, man. So we've had, it's 10, how many? I think there's 10, 11 shows on the network now. So, we're not always going to see eye to eye on things.
No,
which is the beauty of this thing.
True that.
Within the network, when people join the network, the first thing we tell them is we're never going to tell you what to talk about and what not to talk about. And so that's the beauty of this, is we can always lend opinions, comment on each other's posts, show up on each other's shows, and express why we just don't agree with you. And you can continue to do what you do, and we'll continue to do what we do. So with that being said, I've gotten several calls this week, and about 4 of them are led with, "Yo, what the fuck is up with Chab Dog?" So, apparently, Chab Dog has a huge issue with people destroying statues and monuments of quote unquote, American icons, greats, heroes, whatever you want to call them. He looks at it as deplorable, in his words.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've commented on a couple of his things. Firstly, I was like, well, kind of disappointed that you were radio silent on the actual death of a human, but you got so much to say about statues. And I commented on another one. Money commented on another one. Pooh commented on another one. Really my thing was, okay, at this point, I get that you're upset, but where was the vitriol? Where was your outrage when my people's history was being destroyed in this country? And, I was like, so I say all that to say we will disagree at some point within shows and within the network. That's the beauty of this thing. And we'll continue to disagree. So, Chap Dog, I'm going to let you know why I disagree with you. But, Al, what are your thoughts on the removal and the destroy, the removal and just the dismissal of all of these monuments that people deem offensive and outdated and antiquated? What are your thoughts on?
Wow. So I'm glad, honestly. I think it's a positive thing. Generally speaking, I'm not one for. I'm really curious to know why somebody would support them staying up. So that's kind of what, as you were talking, that's kind of what was going through my mind. Like, well, what's the rationale for thinking that this is a bad thing? Like, who wants to keep them up? Like, I really want to hear more from that person, that perspective. But I guess where I'm at, it's about time. They gotta go. I'm not one who thinks just pulling down people's shit and destroying and like vandalism. I'm not a supporter of that. So while I understand that, and I've done my share of vandalizing things in my life too, so I get it. But generally speaking, I'm not one who advocates for vandalism. Otherwise, there's ways to, get whatever the process is. There's ways to do it, and I'm even happier when I see, well, not happier, but I'm also happy to see when there are cities and like governments, not just people pulling them down. Like, I see people officially removing them who are like, they're agreeing with the people and say, you know what? Yes, it's about time. Pull that shit down. We sorry. Let's move it. Let's get it out the way. Let's store it somewhere else. Like, so I like to see that when it happens as well. So all in all, man, I'm just a believer that it's about that time. Like, I've heard people over the years, express this heritage concept, and that, they are, and whether it's the Confederate flag or the monuments, that essentially it's honoring their ancestors who, died. And I get that because I'm a historian and I like to honor my ancestors. But at the end of the day, like, these ancestors of theirs were insurgents and committed treason and like pulled away from our country. So the reality is, usually you don't honor those people, honestly. So as the on the side of the people who was right and won, I'm okay with pulling their shit down and saying we moving on. Like, nah, no longer are we honoring those people in our society because they were for wrong shit and they need to be shown the door. Like, I like that stance of a country, of a society, of a people, because honestly, it's been time for that to be pulled down. So, that's where I'm at. I'm just glad I'm glad it's happening. And honestly, the other thing is, there's so many more to go. There's so many more. Like, if this is where we headed, and I'm down for that, let's one by one check them off. That gotta go. That gotta go. That gotta go. Because I'm in a city where we got roads named after Confederate people. I'm saying schools, army bases, parks. All of them got them. Stone Mountain.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like, for one, like this heritage bullshit, that's crazy. It ain't no heritage. The Confederacy lasted 5 years. What kind of fucking heritage that has ever been built in 5 years? I wish my kid, I wish my 5-year-old, my 10-year-old kid would be like, yo, since I was 5, yo, I've been building this legacy. You sit your ass down. So no, there's no heritage within the Confederacy. The shit only lasted a half a decade. Secondly, I do believe that one of the biggest issues Chabdog had was when people started attacking monuments and statues of George Washington, and my reply was, "Ain't none of these founding fathers see me as human. I'm yawning. Knock them shits down."
Yep.
I don't give a shit. I do believe that you do have to look at the totality of a person.
Correct.
When we look at their history. But George Washington's history is overwhelmingly racist and white supremacist.
And honestly, how much does it take? Like when you talk about those types of crimes, like again, like if you only raped one kid, is that okay? If you was only raped, no. If you're doing something that heinous, I'm looking at you real different. It only takes one act, two act, like you said. I'm with you. I agree.
But I do agree. You have to look at the individual, and I think if you look at overwhelmingly the statues that are coming down, for the most part, people are doing their homework. They know who to attack and who not to attack, who to bring down, who not to bring down. So I'm like any movement. In any surge, there's going to be some outliers and some collateral damage. But as the saying goes, if we're gonna make some omelets, we got to break some eggs. So that's just how the shit goes. But I'm with you. It's past time for these shits to come down. We don't ask Jewish people to walk past or honor statues and revere statues of Hitler. We don't ask them to do that. So why would they ask us to do the same? And expect us to do the same is what gets me. So it's time for them shits to come down and rename them. If you need to put up more of people who are actually worthy of being praised and revered, put up more. But these shits got to come down. There's no reason why my kids should have to, and kids who look like my kids should have to worship and learn and honor and live and exist in a place that celebrates their oppression. That's bullshit. So no, it's not gonna happen. It's past time. And like old dude said on that the viral video the other day, we built this shit for free, and we ain't taking this shit no more.
So to me, this is what I was talking about in one of our previous shows when it's so it's real easy to have a slogan and saying and say Black Lives Matter. I stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, right? For white folk. It's real easy to say that shit. But when it comes time to when you heard me talking about real talk, white folk gotta change. This is gonna end only when white folk change. And to me, this is part of that change. That change requires you to say, you know what? It doesn't affect me like that because I'm not black. But you know what? That shit is wrong. And I no longer want to live in a city or attend a school or drive by that shit is wrong. The same way, like you said, people would empathize with Jewish people and say, yo, all right, I get it. Yeah, they shouldn't have to deal with Hitler Boulevard. That's wrong. Take that shit down. I'll stand with them on that. They take Hitler Boulevard down. Right. Why? Until white folk can make that leap, this shit ain't changing. Right. That's the work.
I'm right. Welcome to the world, Thomas Stevens.
What's good, gentlemen?
What's up, Pooh?
Nothing. Yeah, take it all down, man.
All right.
hey, take it all down, burn it, melt it.
Come on.
Put it in the bottom of the Chesapeake. I mean,
now.
Get it.
Right.
go get it, man.
Yeah.
We was in the I don't even know what part y'all on, but hey, take it all down. We we were in the hospital yesterday, and we just we were looking around, and of course, they have all the Caucasian presidents, and that was over the hospital, and this and that and that. So I looked at it and I was like, boy, tear it down. Tear it down, man. They what I'm saying, they wouldn't let us in here. We were open heart surgery and taking twins apart and curing the blue babies and all of that. Hey, tear it down, man. Let's redo this joint.
Like that.
Like that, man. We can coincide together, man. Just don't make it look one-sided, because it's not one-sided.
Right. And then I think, like I said, like it's easy to look at, the individuals and take them on a case-by-case basis. But what's even easier is anybody with the Confederacy attached to their name, get rid of them motherfuckers.
Oh, easily.
Like, you ain't even got to, like, what research is there to be done?
Easily.
Right.
If you are associated with that group, you might as well say you down with, like, Bin Laden.
Right.
That's right. And that's what I'm saying. Not just as a black man, but as an American.
Right. Don't matter. Right. I don't care if you associate with them because they were the enemy.
Right.
They were terrorists.
Right.
No.
And they fucking lost. When is we start celebrating losers?
Celebrating. Right. And those guys they're a threat to justice.
Right.
They're a threat to justice to Americans. And as they say, any threat, to justice, anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And much like their those who continue to carry on their quote unquote legacy. They're disgrace to this country.
I agree totally, wholeheartedly.
So, if y'all wanna tell me how I can how me and mine can disrespect your flag, let me tell you how you disrespecting my flag.
Hit it.
So,
hit it.
If you want to fly that flag and wave your colors, go back to where the fuck you come from and wave your colors wherever you want to.
Because that's the damn sure truth. Every instance of standing with the Confederacy, you are standing against America.
Exactly.
Agreed. Period. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So if you want to disrespect my flag and disrespect my troops, fine. Go find somewhere to do it on your own time. And do it on your own. And leave this country and go find somewhere. If you want to find somewhere where you can disrespect this country, go do that.
Right.
Now, all you Black Lives Matter white people, y'all should be able to rock with that. Y'all should be able to get behind that and be like, yo, you know what? I'm right. Pull it down. They need to be out there, pull it down. It shouldn't just be black folks screaming this.
Right.
If you are American, you should be screaming this.
Right.
Bottom line.
And that was my thing, because you going against the actual, fabric of what America is supposed to be. That's the idea of America. That's the idea of it.
Right.
However, if you want to drag on and go with the old America on what America actually was, we don't need you. we don't need you. We need the idea.
What it's supposed to
be.
Right.
We need the idea of America to come to fruition. That's what we need. That's what we want. Right. And that's what we've been yearning for. And damn it, we ain't gonna stop till we get it.
Absolutely. And I'm
justice,
sorry, Chab Dog.
No
I will comment. I will comment on every post I see, Chab Dog. I will flood your show with calls if that's necessary. But
whatever it takes.
Yeah, because you're gonna hit me.
Believe it.
But I think we're pretty clear on where we stand about that.
All right.
But
stand in agreement.
Damn right. So on a further note of why we feel that way, last week NASCAR, on the urges of its only black driver, Bubba Wallace, Bubba Wallace, urged NASCAR to remove the Confederate flag from all of its venues at every race, and they took note and banned the Confederate flag from
Right.
every NASCAR
Quick.
venue.
All right.
Like,
Right.
in 2 days,
Right.
ban them. That's what's up.
Yeah, took them no time at all, and which was the right thing to do.
Right.
And,
Shout out to NASCAR.
Right, shout out to NASCAR, but it shouldn't have took you this fucking long.
That too.
Agreed.
Shout out
Real
to
talk.
NASCAR.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll bring that up later.
Right.
We'll bring that up later because everybody is wondering how the hell was you rocking with this shit anyway. But
Right,
whatever.
like
Whatever,
that's the
how it is.
thing to me. For one, does it take a black man to ask you to remove this shit for you to remove
Yes.
it?
Apparently it does in
Right.
this country. The white folk every day like ain't no big deal.
Right, but we are asking white folks to address other white folks, so they did. So kudos to NASCAR for stepping up and removing it and banning it.
Yeah, real talk.
So with that, of course, we already knew that there were going to be people who, thought that this was the end of NASCAR as we know it. They're destroying my sport. Taking the Confederate flag. How crazy is that? But we also, obviously what's going to happen was people going to be so upset. Somebody's going to do something stupid.
Right.
And somebody put a noose.
Right.
The noose in the garage bay of Daryl Bubba Wallace, in an area that's restricted. So, of all of those dudes that were pushing his car to the front of the line, it's probably one of them dudes. Who did it?
Well, have you heard the latest?
No. That they're not considering it a hate crime?
Because the rope was in there, they said, since October.
Right.
So they're saying that after reviewing video evidence, the rope that someone found thinking that someone had put it there for Wallace, the video evidence shows that that rope was there as far back as October of 2019.
All right.
And there's no way anyone could have known that he was going to have this garage. So, it was there in October, so it's not associated with him. It's not a racist act. That's what's being now. Again, it's just what's coming from the FBI and NASCAR, and I don't know them like that, so I'm just saying what they said.
Right.
That's just how I take any information coming from institutions like that, because I'll question all types of shit. I look at them all screw faced but that's what they're saying now is that it was based on the evidence. This is the FBI statement based on the evidence, and NASCAR confirms it. It's been there since October 2019. And honestly, I know there's going to be a lot of people wondering cover up, and because it just seems kind of crazy. But apparently it's a rope that they use to pull down the garage door or something like that. That one of the crew members found, and because we live in the country we live in, and NASCAR is NASCAR, I'm not shocked at all that anybody would think that this was put here for this black man. The way it played out makes a whole lot of sense. Really the question is, I guess not the question. One of the things I'm gonna take away from it is kind of like when you got that type of reputation, motherfuckers don't give you the benefit of the doubt. If the NASCAR and just what racism is like for a black man, it seemed very possible, if not probable, that after this brother makes this statement, a noose is found in his garage. I wasn't shocked. I wasn't surprised. So although it didn't turn out to be that way, it's just kind of, it just speaks to what it's like to be a black person in this country, the black experience. Again, this is, it should be no backlash on him. This is the best result, honestly, that you could expect out of something that's like it not to be true. And NASCAR hopefully has generated some positive energy in terms of race relations, which they really needed. And the fact that they came and supported his brother, like they need to take that energy and keep building on it, not just like, oh, well, you know, it didn't happen, so let's just go back to how it used to be. Nah, NASCAR needed some work to do. Like they have issues and have had issues for years. So for them to be moving in the right direction, they need to take it and keep moving. But it's all that to say, before I read this, I wasn't shocked. It was just like, here you go, NASCAR. I was very stereotypical, generalizing that's because it's NASCAR and what they've done over the years, and they've been having Confederate flags over the years. Yeah, somebody put a noose. It just made a lot of sense to me, like, But
So then, and I also think the fact that before when this initially happened, that 20 white dudes gathered around his car and pushed his car to the front, basically saying that shit's got to change. Like, what the 20 white dudes in unison did that speaks volumes for where things need to go in NASCAR.
Yeah, right.
All right. It ain't us just making up shit in our head. That's them acknowledging that, this shit been bad for a while.
We got issues, and y'all shouldn't be treating our brother like that.
Right. And like, I don't know if y'all saw the interview with former driver Willie T. Ribbs. He was a black driver in the 80s. Brother.
Yeah.
He was like, man, he just got a noose. I got actual death threats. So, I guess he felt like Bubba getting off a little light. So, I don't know, man. It's crazy that there's a sport, like a major sport, that has to, that's going through this of having to ban a Confederate flag and deal with the outcries of these bigots who don't want to give up their give up their whiteness in anything. That's crazy to me that we're in 2020 and we're going through this shit.
I think considering its Southern roots and how much of the Confederate, how much symbols are still in display in the South. Again, I hope this is just the beginning. Because there's a lot more to go, and they're gonna go, dragging and screaming to give them up. But it's a lot of streets, schools, whatever. Like, you just go through the list, and again, I hope they just get rid of them one by one. Let's get it going. Let's get it popping.
Right,
no doubt.
Because even in my hometown, they changed the they changed the college mascot from Indians to Wolves because people were
Wolves,
offended. Right? But 10 minutes down the road, there's still a high school with the mascot Rebels. So when we gonna change that shit? So,
no, you're right. You're right.
When we say Black Lives Matter, that's why we say that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But we're gonna on some as frustrating as this shit is. Have y'all seen this thread going around social media of NFL QBs as women as equally as hilarious as this shit?
So this is like pictures of what they would look like as women?
Yeah, and this dude did a face app and actually found women who looked like these QBs, like every quarterback in the league and some previous QBs, and just found women who looked like female versions of them. And pasted their face over their picture in them in uniform.
Great job. Like the Tom Brady one.
Yeah.
Bro.
The Drew Brees is nuts.
No, Drew Brees is crazy. Aaron Rodgers, you can't tell me that's not Blossom, yo. That's got to be Blossom. Is that Blossom? Is that Blossom, though?
Right.
That gotta be
man.
Blossom.
It do look like Blossom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they all do a real good job.
No, they all do.
Yeah,
for real.
For
real.
The Dwayne Haskins, this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
The Dak one didn't. Yeah, the Dak one was.
The Dak one was.
I could see it though.
I could see it, but there's better.
Right. The Roethlisberger was nuts. But yeah, they all this is crazy. So shout out to.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
no, it is.
So, and it was kind of cute.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to that, man, because anybody who I'll put the link in the show description. Anybody who wants to check it out, because these are hilarious. We always need this kind of comic breakup whenever we are in the midst of serious shit we've been talking about.
So I thought, how they have those apps where you can make this is what you would look like as a girl.
Right. I thought it was too.
That's why I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. They yeah, but okay. Either way, yeah.
So that's what I thought it was too. But the way it was explained to me was he actually did a face-over app. So either, like you said, either way, this shit is hilarious. So on to the NBA. So I kind of, the NBA has announced that they are returning to play to finish out this season, starting July 31st. First of all, really quick, Pooh, you happy about that? You happy they finishing up the season?
I mean, for the fan in me to see some sports, yeah. I just don't know. I just don't know how safe it is. I don't know if it's gonna be like. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just don't know how tight knit it is, because what I'm thinking is, I guess for everyone to be completely safe, because Florida's reached their 100K alone in cases, which is ridiculous. So I'm thinking, epicenter. Right. So if like they use Disney and Disney resorts, so everyone was on there, couldn't leave, couldn't go off only to play the basketball, because if like the food there, everyone is working the games, all the shifts, everyone is staying on site until the season is over. Right. Because if you go out, when you go home and go to the supermarket and things like that, that's when you contract the coronavirus. So right. if it's not sealed tightly like that, I'm like someone's gonna bring it in and spread it to someone. I just don't know how safe it is. I said all that to say that.
All right. Al, you happy with the NBA coming back?
I'm definitely happy to get sports back. But I agree with Pooh. Like, I just am not confident that this is going to be sustainable. And, there's a lot of movement in our country in a lot of businesses of trying to return back to somewhat of normal. But the reality is, like, we are going through a pandemic. And right. In many cases in our country, numbers are going higher. Mm-hmm. And so the chances of, someone getting infected as people move I just think it's going to happen. And I think whether it's talking about the NBA, the NFL, the baseball, school, church, like whatever we talking about, it's just, as I see these numbers going up, the more we got people moving and not sheltering in, especially with people not taking the precautions, the numbers are going to keep getting higher. Right. So I'm worried. I'm worried.
Don't test, like our president suggests. You don't test and the numbers don't go high.
Yeah. What an idiot.
Jackass. But the NBA is coming back. So July 31st, they will be in a bubble. And Pooh, you made a good point. I'm not sure if everyone's going to be in that bubble in Orlando. Like people who serve the food, people who cook the food. I'm not sure if they can leave the premises or not. That's a good question.
Right, it is.
But so what I wanted to do as we lead up to the NBA's return and to LeBron winning his 4th championship. I want to go division by division. I want to go each team in every division, and we give a GOAT of every team. I don't think we've ever done this. So, kind of breaks up the monotony of all the other GOAT conversations we've had and everybody seems to have. I just want to kind of give each of you, let's go through every team and give me a GOAT of that franchise. So we'll go in alphabetical order in the Atlantic Division this week, starting with the Brooklyn Nets. So the New Jersey / Brooklyn Nets. Al, who do you think is the GOAT of the Nets? You on mute? Pooh, you hear me? But yeah, so starting with the New Jersey / Brooklyn Nets. Al, who's the GOAT of the Nets?
So I went with Jason Kidd. As I thought about the Nets, I had to put a little rule in place that, all right, you got to have 5 years at least with a squad to make my GOAT list. Like, I'm for a franchise. You can't have just been there a season or two. That ain't enough for me. So I just set my standard's going to be 5. Kid was there like 6.5. To me, was the best play I've seen. Dr. J was a possibility. He wasn't there long enough. So I'm going with Kid.
Okay. Good one. Pooh, what say you?
I have Kid as well. However, a close second. It's Kenyon Martin, man.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was a beast now. I like Kenyon.
Yeah. I got Kid as well. A close second for me. Well, it was 2 close seconds. Was Derek Coleman and Drazen Petrovic.
Okay.
But Derek was a beast.
Yeah.
Derek was a beast.
You know, I think I'm a little biased with Derek Coleman in that I always felt he could have been better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess I held that against him, but yeah, he was dominant though.
Yeah, he was dominant.
And I think there was a stretch, a 1 or 2 year stretch, was where he was possibly the best power forward in the game.
I get that.
But Kid took him to a final, so I go with Kid.
Yeah, he took him to the finals.
All right, so we're unanimous on the Nets with Jason Kidd. This is going to get interesting in these East Coast teams with Al. It's going to be fun. The Boston Celtics. Pooh, who's the GOAT of the Celtics?
Oh, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that it's crazy. I'm going to have to say Bill Russell. But when I think of Boston, when I think of the green, I think of the Celtics. The first name comes to me is Larry Bird.
Right.
You know, it just comes to me. But if you look at everything in its totality, you have to say Bill Russell.
Right. Yeah. Al, what would you think?
Yeah. Now, with the qualifier that Larry Bird is the best Celtic I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Right.
With Paul Pierce being a close second. But yeah, Bill Russell is the GOAT of the Celtics.
Okay. I think it goes without saying that Bill Russell is the GOAT of the Celtics if he's in the short list of GOATs in the league.
Right, right.
So, but like you said, we never got to see him play. So, but I will go with Bill Russell. It just doesn't feel right because, like Pooh said, and then of course, it's a testament of when we grew up. We think of Larry Bird when we think Celtics. So, but yeah, I think it goes without saying that Bill Russell's the GOAT of that franchise. All right, moving on to Al, your very own New York Knicks. Who is the GOAT of the Knicks? I'm interested in hearing this answer.
Willis Reed. And
that was cool.
Wow, Willis Reed. And Patrick Ewing is the GOAT of my lifetime.
Okay.
but the anchor of the Knicks in their greatest years was Willis Reed, and I have Walt as my second.
Oh wow.
Frazier.
Oh, Frazier. Okay.
Frazier's my second. Then Patrick Ewing. Because when you talk greatest, like championships is where I that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm looking at these great guys in this Knick room, yeah, they get the nod over Ewing, and
Okay.
I got nothing but love for Patrick Ewing.
Right.
Nothing but.
Wow. Okay. Pooh, who's the GOAT of the Knicks?
Don't know a lot about the Knicks. I just got to go with years and stats and I guess how many years you were dominant at that position. So I'm gonna have to go with Pat.
Got you.
I'm gonna go with Pat. You.
Okay. I got to go Ewing too, just because, again, who I got to see play, and I don't have the attachment to that franchise like I know Al does, and how much that championship means to you. So just based off what I saw, a guy who was arguably the best center in the league for a multi-year stretch, I'm going Pat Ewing. But can't dismiss.
Hey, I ain't gonna argue, y'all, because I love you.
Yeah. Moving on to the Philadelphia 76ers. Pooh, who's the GOAT of the Sixers?
This is tough, man. This is tough because when Sixers comes out of your mouth, the first name comes to mind is AI or the initials, the answer. That's the first person I think about. However, Ship, and if you see any greatest NBA plays highlights ever, you hear, the doctor rocking the baby to sleep, and I'm gonna have to say Dr. J, man.
Okay. Wow. All right. Al, who's the GOAT of the Sixers?
Yeah, I'm going with Dr. J too, and it's pretty much very similar to what Pooh just said. Just while Iverson comes to mind, Barkley comes to mind because they were, the best players at their position during, so they qualify wholeheartedly. But to me, Dr. J gets the nod with the championship.
All right. First of all, shout out to Moses Malone, who we lost last week at the age of, how old was Moses?
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
I saw it, and I didn't even get to dig into it. But I saw an article, so I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how true it is. But I saw an article flash up on social media. But the thing that I thought was, how crazy is 2020 that Moses Malone passes away and ain't nobody talking about it. So I forgot to even go back and check. So if it is true, our condolences to Moses Malone's family. I'm sorry I didn't even go back and check, but I just thought about it when y'all started talking about the Sixers. But yeah, this is a tough one. I didn't expect the Sixers to be this tough. But you think about Mo, you think about Dr. J. You start thinking about intangibles. You think about Mo Cheeks. Barkley, Iverson, as y'all said. Barkley's my favorite player of all time. In my top three. But that being said, I still gotta go Dr. J.
Yeah.
Dr. J's an icon. So it's hard to remove him from that spot.
Just for the record, Moses Malone passed away September 13, 2015.
Oh, okay. So it's been a while. So this is one of the things you forgot about.
Yes, coronary artery disease.
Oh, wow. Well, still condolences to his family. I'm sorry about that.
Shout out. Yeah, true that.
Shout out to Moses Malone. Fo.
Great player.
Hey, I was about to say he averaged 16, 17 rebounds a game or something silly like that.
He was a beast, man.
Yeah. Man, who coined the term fo.
Fo.
Fo. And the newest team on this in the Atlantic Division, the youngest team, one of the younger teams in the league, the Toronto Raptors. Al, who's the? Ooh, this is gonna be tough. Who's the GOAT of the Raptors?
So this is where the 5-year rule came into effect. Where when I came to this team, then I was able to apply my 5-year rule because, Kawhi Leonard was on there for that 1 year, and while he wasn't he was only there for a year, but he was amazing, right? But that being said, longevity, putting the franchise on the map, I'm going with Vince Carter.
Okay. Pooh, what say you?
I'm with you, Al. I was thinking the same thing with Kawhi. I was like, man, he got him a ship. Kawhi the guy, But half man, half amazing is, you think about Damon. He was great, but half man, half amazing. When Toronto came to your building, that's the one guy you had to stop for at least a 10-year stretch, and he was going to do some unbelievable stuff, and somebody had to score because he was going to put up points and he was going to be tough to defend. So I'm gonna go with half man, half amazing.
Yeah. First of all, I'm going Vince. Even I didn't even think about Kawhi until after I'd already said Vince in my head. Just because Vince was that dominant, it just, Kawhi won a championship there, but he ain't getting nothing for a year, like you said. But I remember around 99, 2000, every night on SportsCenter, we were gathering around TVs to watch Vince's highlights every night. And thinking at that point, he was still young, still thinking that, man, this might be the next guy. He might be the next one, not knowing that, with years, his game wouldn't round out like Michael and Kobe's would. He wouldn't become the all-around player that we expected him to grow into. But through that young stretch of us imagining what he could be, that was fun. Man. And he still turned out to be still a Hall of Famer, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
But, we thought he would be, again, amongst all-time GOAT lists when he first came into the league. Because I remember in my dorm room, we would gather, run to the TV when Vince's highlights were coming on. So, easily for me is Vince Carter.
So, quick question. He's listed as a small forward, right? Where is he all time at small forward?
Of all time?
Of all time. Is he above or below Scotty?
Oh,
I put him above Scotty, actually.
From above?
Yeah, I would put him above
So
Scotty.
that's pretty thick then. So got him above Scotty, above Paul. Man. Is he the number one small of all time? Because it depends on where you put Braun. If you put Braun at 2 or 3.
Putting Braun at 3.
You putting LeBron at 3. So Braun is number 1.
Larry Bird is 2nd.
Larry Bird. Okay.
You got Dr. J.
You got Doc. Okay.
What other small forward?
So y'all don't think Vince is more well-rounded game is Dr. J? Dribble, jump shot?
Oh, that's
y'all don't think y'all don't think you're a better all-around player than Dr. J?
Well, it depends on which Dr. J. We're just talking about just Dr. J in the NBA. Maybe so.
Oh, you talking about
Well, we got the Dr. J from the ABA.
Right.
His whole career, I'll put Dr.
Right.
J. Vince.
Okay.
Kind of like the Warren Moon syndrome, I guess.
I got you.
But
so you'll definitely have him top 5 though, because that's about 5. Because right now you guys are at 4. You have Bird, Doc, Braun, And who else?
I mean, then I guess you start getting into like the guys who were like
Kevin Durant.
Kevin
How
Durant.
about Durant?
Yeah, Durant's definitely ahead of Vince.
Oh yeah.
How about Dominique?
Nope.
Neat. That's tough.
I wouldn't. Nah, I mean,
That's
James
tough.
Worthy.
You will put James Worthy over Vince?
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out names. Like this is
Just
where
Oh,
you
you're
throwing
just
out
throwing out
out
names and for us to rate them? Yeah.
Just to hit it, and where you put him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And James Worthy was kind of different because his game was more of a 4.
Right.
But since Magic was such a big point guard, they could kind of afford to have
Right.
so
Right.
He remind me of like Antoine Jameson game.
right.
But I mean, he was better. He was better than Antoine Jameson.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
he just remind me of that old man game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's an
right.
Adrian Dantley type game.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all got him around 8 now. Y'all got Vince around 8.
Yeah.
He's definitely in my top 10. So yeah,
he's in my top 10. Easy.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's
I agree.
the
I
deepest
put him-
position of all time in the NBA. Like because
Outside of
the
center.
shooting guards list is so short, huh?
Shooting guard is extremely short. I'll go to.
Okay.
I don't know. I think center may be a deeper position.
Okay.
I didn't see Elgin Baylor, but apparently he was a small forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one more. I got one more. What about Mac? Did you have T Mac over Vince?
T-Mac was a shooting guard though.
Oh, they had him listed as a 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Other small forwards of all time, you got Chris Mullin, you got Bernard King, Alex English,
Okay.
Grant Hill,
Ooh.
Kawhi Leonard, Rick Barry.
Shooting guard. I mean, small forward, deep.
Yeah.
Small
Jamal
forward.
Wilkes, Jimmy Butler, Mark Aguirre.
Orlando Woolridge.
Yeah.
Whew.
Jamal
Yeah.
Mashburn.
Mash. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small forward, deep.
And
Small
we've
forward.
had some good ones. Had some real good come through the league. Glenn Robinson,
Yeah. And I think
Sean Elliott.
it's going hard. I mean, barring injury, I guess another injury, it's going to be hard to keep Durant. It's going to be hard to keep Durant down.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, and I mean, you say barring injury, granted his ability to come back from this one.
To come back, right?
Correct.
Because what they saying is he looks so good, he can play now. But however, that's against air, you know,
Right.
and that's not game speed. So
Yeah, and that's not wear and tear dealing with that injury.
right, agree.
So it remains to be seen. But I mean, it wouldn't shock me if 10 years from now we have this conversation and we're on episode 1672. If Kevin Durant is number 1 on that list.
Number 1 on that
Real
list.
talk. If his game evolves, like let's just say, because he has the height to be like Dirk Nowitzki in the last part of his career,
Right.
and to where he continues to put up numbers, continues to win championships. Yeah, I think he will definitely be very, very high on the list, considering what he's accomplished already,
Right.
and what he could add to the rest of this career, the resume. So,
Right.
Absolutely.
Hopefully
especially
we
with the injury, because people could always be like, that he had the injury, so we're gonna look at his, production going forward in a different context, because, maybe he won't have his athleticism anymore, but he still might put up 23 a game.
Right. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I'm just glad they decided not to rush him back for this bubble season.
Yeah, for the tournament. Yeah,
True that.
So
yeah, for the tournament. Hopefully, I'm hoping, man, he doesn't break down like Boogie. I mean, I feel bad for Boogie.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Boogie should have took that deal. He would have been that guaranteed that $100 million. But I guess sometimes you bet on yourself, and sometimes you roll snake eyes, man. You know?
Yeah, but that's what. Remember
what he
when Boogie signed with the Warriors? Remember we had that conversation. Everybody was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, there's no way they're gonna lose now," and
Right.
we was all like, "Well, everybody except Keon." we was all like, pump the brakes. Because ain't nobody ever came back from this kind of injury before.
Right.
And it kind of like we just said, like the wear and tear of playing on a repaired Achilles, it's different.
It's different.
We'll see.
Body be different, B.
Your body be different, B.
Especially coming after that injury, your body be different. Yeah. Your body be different.
Right. So we're gonna jump into this listener question before we get into our trivia. So a listener question is from Tangela in Washington, D.C. Pooh, you first. Tangela wants to know, how does the dynamic shift for you guys when you go from Defy Life to One Eye Shut? It's a damn good question.
No, it is.
Yeah, how does the dynamic shift for you, Pooh?
Well, I try to consider the audience and because when we on this, it's almost like we're almost male dominant, like we sitting in our man cave, just talking shit or just talking about whomever or whatever. So I'm not as, I want to say, it's almost like I'm not as compassionate, So, but when I'm on with the ladies and I'm more compassionate, I feel like I'm more of a husband.
Right.
And I just feel like, and that's the energy, that's the energy that I'm giving off. And I don't want to, I guess, be too vulgar and step on the ladies' toes, as well. However, I do want to convey what I want to convey. So I guess I want to be, like I said, be more compassionate, I suppose.
Okay. Al, how does that dynamic shift for you?
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. You definitely have to understand it's different context, different scenario, different dynamic altogether, and that this is three males shooting the shit, talking about it, honestly and openly, but raw, no filter. Just
right.
Is this who it is? And then the other one is, more of a reflection of relationships and how relationships go. I think the other thing is it is 6 voices. So in terms of, I try to be a lot more succinct too in my conversation. Like I'm not trying to be too long-winded because I know it's 5 other people who need to get their point across. Right. So I think that's another part of the dynamic as well.
Okay.
Switching shows.
Right.
Yeah,
you can't dribble as much.
Nah, you gotta pass the rock, yo.
Pass the rock.
People be looking at you like, "What up, son? Pass the mic, bro.
What's this dude doing?
What you doing? What you doing?
Right.
Here he go.
Right.
Right. Oh man. For me, I mean, definitely first and foremost, I have to remember that I'm not hosting the show. Because that's a big Pooh. I'm sure you understand. Like, especially like within week, like night, like back-to-back nights. You go from hosting a show to not hosting a show, and it's a big shift to make.
Right.
So I have to constantly remind myself of that. And then, too, again, like you said, consider the audience. On here, it's always easy for us to get our point across by making a sports reference. As opposed to, if we try to do a sports reference on there or make a comparison through sports, our audience and our co-hosts may look at us like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
Crickets.
Right.
Miss you in that one, son.
Right. And what I've learned is that's kind of, I listen to how I have to adjust and then go back and listen to older shows. That's kind of our go-to. Our go-to is to make our point by saying, hey, it's kind of like when Magic played against Michael, but Magic was 40. So we tend to do those sports references a lot, and rightfully so, considering the audience. So that's one. And then, like you said, Pooh, is just finding a way to be a kinder, gentler Jay when I need to be. But then, like, there's also that space of, there's a different space of defending yourself when it comes to your wife versus something you said 3 years ago about an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like we always say, remember you said this about LeBron, but you know it's a different level of defending yourself when somebody talk about you leaving your drawers on the floor.
Right.
Right. So, but it's different, but equally as fun.
That's funny.
But damn good question, Tangela, and thank you for listening to both shows.
No doubt. No doubt. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So y'all definitely keep shooting those questions over. We appreciate y'all reaching out to us. If you want to get something off your chest, if you just disagree with something, or if you just got a question you want to ask in general, just shoot us an email at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on our social media platforms at GoDefyLife. With that being said, Al, you got us on some trivia?
Yeah, man.
Right.
I will lead the charge and host trivia tonight. So we are doing how many categories? I have 1, 2, 3. I got 4 categories. They all have different number of questions. They also all have different point strategies. So pay attention. So the first category is racism in sports. And it's 4 questions and typical point style 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's that one. Next category is Juneteenth. They have 3 questions and 1, 2, 3 is their point scale, which you can get on that one. Black migration is the third category. Has 2 questions, but the first question is worth 4 points. The second question is worth 5 points. Okay. Then you have the last category that I'm calling Lotta Denzel. And it's 11 questions. 5 points apiece. And you can lose 5 points if you miss it.
Wow.
Okay.
So they're all about the same give or take difficulty. So it's just it's not no pick one. It's just like when we get to the Denzel question, it's just you take the first one, then the second one. We'll just go down until we have gone through all 11 questions, and they're worth 5 points, so you can lose 5 points.
Okay.
And a lot of Denzel. Okay, wow. 11 of those questions. All right. So
okay.
Wow, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Do I need to repeat anything? Y'all good or?
I just have a quick question. There's not any undertone to the lot of Denzel. These are questions about Denzel, right?
All Denzel questions.
Okay.
Right. All Denzel questions. Okay. And it just comes out of when I was with my family this weekend, we just had a brief conversation about how many great Denzel Washington movies there were. And we just went around the room naming Denzel, and I think we might have got to like 20. It was crazy, the list. And I was like, dang, this dude is just has done some great movies in his life. So
no doubt.
That's the inspiration of that. Okay. All right. So who won last? Any recollection of that?
I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. So you know what? Hey, we're gonna. I'm gonna show some love, and I'm gonna let you go first to see if that might break the streak. So, Pooh, you go first.
I'm gonna rock with Denzel.
Okay, Denzel. Question number 1. Worst 5. Get 5, lose 5.
Okay.
What individuals were being killed in the movie The Pelican Brief?
The Pelican Brief.
And it's a 5-second.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
CIA workers.
No. Supreme Court justices.
Okay.
Right. In the movie. That's what they're taking out. The Supreme Court justices are being assassinated.
Okay.
Okay, what you got, Jay?
Let me go racism in sports.
Racism in sports for 1, 2, 3, or 4?
For 3.
3. Okay. In 1997, after winning the Masters tournament, Tiger Woods faced these comments from this individual. So tell me who this individual was. That little boy is driving well and he's putting well. He's doing everything it takes to win. So you know what you guys do when he gets here. You pat him on the back and say congratulations and enjoy it and tell him not to serve fried chicken next year. Got it. Who said that?
Fuzzy Zeller.
That is correct. Fuzzy Zeller said that.
That asshole.
Asshole.
Right. Let me go with Denzel again. I'm going to hitch my wagon to Denzel.
I ain't mad at you. In what movie did Denzel play a quadriplegic?
The Bone Collector.
That is correct. JR, what you going? What you got?
I'm about to chip away with Pooh so he don't get all his points from Denzel. Let me go.
Man,
Denzel.
stay away from over there.
Hits my wagon right beside his.
The next one, you doing Denzel?
Yeah.
Okay. What movie continuously played "Time Is on My Side"? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Out of time.
Oh, not bad, but that is incorrect.
I know it.
What is it?
It's Falling.
It is Falling.
Oh, damn.
Dang, I needed that one. Give me Denzel.
Okay. In what movie does Denzel play a FBI agent saving New York City from terrorism?
What is that? I think it's
5, 4,
is
3.
it The Siege or Under Siege? The Siege.
That is correct. It is Siege. Okay, Jay, what you got?
Denzel again.
Oh, they're running through Denzel. In which movie did Denzel play an angel? 5,
The
4.
Preacher's Wife.
That is correct.
All right, Denzel.
Who co-starred with Denzel in the movie Courage Under Fire?
Courage Under
3.
Fire. Jack Nicholson.
That is incorrect. That would be Meg Ryan. Denzel plays a he's in the army, I believe. Meg Ryan is over in like Iraq, leading a platoon. She gets shot.
Find out, she gave the order. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack Nicholson was in that though.
Oh, that's another movie, but I ain't gonna say that movie because it might be coming up.
Oh man. Shit, Denzel.
Glory was set during what war?
Civil War.
That is correct.
Indeed, yeah. Denzel.
In Man on Fire,
Okay.
Washington plays a bodyguard who's protecting who? 5.
Creasy Bear. That's not good enough. No,
I don't need to know her name. Just
she was called Dakota Fanning.
I don't need to know her name. Just say what was she? A male,
the daughter.
female? Okay,
little girl.
That's enough. Like she was an actress from Toronto and she was born on. That's enough, bro. That's enough. Okay.
Oh man. Denzel.
What actor was Denzel's adversary in Crimson Tide? 5. That is correct.
All right, Denzel.
In Philadelphia, the movie Philadelphia, Washington has to deal with an individual who suffers from what affliction?
AIDS.
That is correct. All
Denzel.
right. Denzel Washington.
Get your ass away from here, Jay.
This is the last Denzel question, by the
Oh.
way. Which movie featured Denzel as a man fighting against an ineffective healthcare system? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, John Q.
1. John Q. Yes. All right. That closes down Denzel Washington. A lot of Denzel.
I had to get the Pelican brief question. Yeah.
So you got Black Migration, 2 questions, 4 and 5. You got Juneteenth, 1, 2, and 3, and then you got Racism in Sports, 1, 2, and 4.
Let me try Juneteenth for 1.
Okay. During the American Civil War, which president issued the Emancipation Proclamation?
Abe Lincoln.
Would be Abe Lincoln. Jay?
All right. Racism in sports.
1, 2, or 4.
4.
In 1983, this college basketball player ran onto the court to be encountered by a banana peel and signs that read blank. His name is an ape. Who is this player? 5, 2, 1, and no final answer. Okay, Patrick Ewing was the answer.
I forgot about that.
Wow.
Patrick Ewing.
I was
Unfortunately, had to deal with that shit.
really impressed. Yeah, if you know that. Give me Juneteenth for 2.
Juneteenth, also known as Independence Day or Freedom Day, is an American holiday that commemorates June 19th, 1865 announcement of the abolition of slavery in this United State. In this state. So
Texas.
that is correct. That's 2 for you. Jay, which way you headed?
What are the points in Black Migration?
Black Migration 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 and 5.
Yeah. Let me do racism in sports for 2. I'm stay away from that for now.
Okay. This radio jock referred to the Rutgers women's basketball player as them nappy-headed hoes.
Oh, wow.
Don Imus.
That would be Don Imus.
That jerk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I guess let me go ahead and try to round off Juneteenth for 3, right?
Yep.
Okay.
In 1980, this state was the first to establish Juneteenth as a state holiday.
In 1980?
Yep, in 1980. 5, 4.
I just heard that. I'm going to go with Texas.
That is correct.
Okay.
Double up on Texas.
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Tyrone.
What's the point? What's the score?
You got the score. Dang, you would have asked that, right?
I know I lost 10. I do know that.
Hold on.
Yeah, I listened to Tyrone joint like three times.
Yeah.
And I played it for the kids.
I got Jay with 20 and Pooh with 16.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get Black Migration for the highest.
Black Migration for 5. After the Civil War and the Reconstruction era, white supremacy was largely restored across the South in the 1870s. These segregationist policies that soon became the law of the land were known as 5.
Jim Crow laws.
That is correct.
Yeah, I knew that one, but I guarantee I'm not going to know number 4. I knew Jim Crow laws. Give me try number 4, man.
Okay. Many blacks ended up creating their own cities within big cities, fostering the growth of new urban African-American culture. The most prominent example was in New York City. This formerly all-white neighborhood that by the 1920s housed over 200,000 African Americans. And it was an artistic movement known first as the New Negro movement and then later as a Renaissance. It had enormous impact on the culture of the era. This city within a city is called
the Harlem Renaissance. Is that right?
Harlem. Get you the right answer. Yes.
Okay.
Then the last question. Racism for one.
That's all left?
All that's left.
Oh, damn, I lost.
Yeah, you want to look at it like that? Yeah. But, we're going to play it out before we make the official announcement.
True.
This guy was the owner of the LA Clippers. He was banned for life from the NBA and fined $2.5 million after making racist comments over the phone to his ex-girlfriend. Who was this asshole?
Donald Sterling.
It would be that asshole. Donald Sterling. And that concludes trivia. JR is the winner with 26-20.
Oh, man. That was good. That was fun.
I was impressed. No, that was fun. I was impressed with you knowing the reporter that said that about Tiger, though.
Oh, no, that's a golfer.
Oh, that was a golfer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He was a golfer.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Thought that shit was funny.
I didn't remember that at all.
Yeah. Fucking fuzzy.
Fuzzy Zeller.
All right. Well, Al, you hosted, man. What you got for me? What's your parting shot?
Man, my parting shot is just great to be back. Great to hear from both of y'all. Take every day as it comes and count them as blessings. And kiss and hug the people you love as much as you can. Peace. I'm out till next week.
No doubt.
No. Pooh was good. What you got for me? What's your parting shot?
Man, this weekend was definitely great. Celebrated my niece 10-year-old birthday, Father's Day, and it was my 12th wedding anniversary. So definitely shout out to my wife. Had a great time. Love you. And I just waiting on 12 more. That's about it, man.
No doubt. Happy anniversary, kid.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. Happy anniversary.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got nothing really crazy, man. Again, we talked about some heavy shit earlier, so y'all kind of know where we stand. But I just kind of want to reiterate to people that we all know right from wrong. And if you want to hold on to your ideals of things just because you're used to them, you're going to fall on the wrong side of history. And, just really take time to, like I always say, go back to kindergarten, man. And we all know right from wrong. And there's a lot of things going on currently in this world, and a lot of things that have to be, if you want to call it removing history or erasing history, I call it fixing shit. And, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. And if we don't take the time to fix them, we're going to continue to repeat this just ugly cycle that has defined this country for so many Americans, and for all Americans. But only a few of us get to have the option to not address it or live it. Some of us are forced to live it every single day. So just do the right thing, man. And we'll all live a longer, more productive life. Peace.
No doubt.
Peace.
So that's it, man. This has been episode 162 of the Defy Life podcast. It's JR, Thomas, Al. We'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Tear it all down. Peace.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.